here when you have it up and ready, so I know you're ready.
It's right up there.
Inferencing word meaning should be right up there. And look up here when you're all ready. Okay, looks like the majority is ready. Everyone has up here? Okay, so I know you guys have been talking a lot about nonfiction feature articles, and we're going to continue doing so today. We're going to look at an article about the Titanic. Everyone knows about the Titanic, right? Big ship. So we're going to look at this article, but we're going to look at it in a different light than you maybe have in the past, and I'll explain to you what I mean by that. We're going to do something called reading between the lines. And a lot of times what authors do is they embed something into the text without really saying it. They kind of give clues. You guys have probably used this in the past. For today and for the next few lessons, we're going to work on this new strategy, and it's called inferring. Who's heard the word inferring before? Lots of you should have heard about it. Okay. So based on the information I've kind of just told you about inferring and reading between the lines, just for a quick second, I want you guys to talk to your table, talk to the person next to you about what you think inferring means and why you think it is important to use in your reading. All right, hands on your head. Yeah. Okay, so I heard a lot of your answers, and they were very good thinking. They're absolutely correct. When writers write, and you guys are informational writers as well, because I know you're writing a lot about your feature articles, what the authors want to do is they want to slowly leak information into the articles and not just come out and say it. So this is called reading between the lines, which is also known as inferring. So I want you to pay close attention to some words that you might not know, something you might not know about, and use the context clues around the article to kind of get a better understanding of what it might mean. So this is something really important. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but I have my little inferencing model up here. Has anyone seen this before? This is all new? Okay. So this is BK and TC equals I, and what all this is the background knowledge that you know about the article, that you might already know from the past, or was the sentence right before, so something you already know, and the text clues that the author is giving you, so the reading between the lines that I was talking about, and that will help you make an inference. So if there's a word that you don't know, you might be able to use something, I've heard this word before, and also in this article she was talking about this. That will help you make the inference on what the word might mean if you didn't know what it meant before. So I want everyone to refer to this model when they're reading and also when they're writing, because it's important as an author to also make inferences to your readers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to model for you how to infer the meaning of a word that you might not know from this article over here, and this is from the Kids Discover. It's about the Titanic, like I said. And as I read, I'm going to use an unfamiliar word that maybe I don't know, maybe that you guys don't know, and I'm going to infer the words that, you guys should have a chart on there. If you scroll down, you don't have to do it right this second, but you do have a chart on there. And the first part of it is the unfamiliar word that you might not know, and then in the next column, you're going to write down what you infer that the word means. So something that you think the word means. It doesn't have to be right, just something, the first thing that comes to mind that you think it might mean. And then in the third column, you're going to write what, based on the clues, based on your inferences, what the word means. And in the fourth one, and we'll explain this all again, so don't get too worried about it. And then in the next column, the last one, you're going to write a sentence with the word. And it's important to write a sentence, because when you write the word in a sentence, it usually means you have a good idea of what it means. So, okay, so first I'll model making an inference, and then I'll give you guys a chance to do it on your own. So if you guys want to get the article up, I'm going to read the first couple paragraphs for you. By the time these words rang out on the RMS Titanic, it was too late. The warning came out at 11:40 p.m. on the clear, cold night of April 14, 1912, in the icy seas of the North Atlantic. Within 40 seconds, the ship's starboard side was raked below the waterline and had become submerged spur of an iceberg. Less than 3 hours later, the Titanic sank beneath the water. at least 1,523, or it's roughly 2,228 passengers and crew were dead or dying. Had the Titanic missed the iceberg that Sunday, it may have simply been remembered as one of the largest, most luxurious ocean liners of its time. Yet so much went wrong that day, that the Titanic had become a symbol for disaster. The great ship's story is a drama with little of everything: heroism, fear, humility, and arrogance, wealth and poverty, life and death. So there's a lot. It's a pretty sad story if you guys aren't familiar with it, but there's some words in there that you might not have heard before, but you might not really know the meaning of it. So for me, as I was reading the very last sentence, I saw the word humility. So I need to consider the clues to help me infer what this word means, and Ms. G is going to help you guys do that.
So the first thing we notice as writers is in the article, the author paired up infants: heroism and fear, humility and arrogance, wealth and poverty, life and death. But the word I'm not really sure of is humility, but it's paired with arrogance. So what I'm going to do is use my context clues and my background knowledge to make an inference on the word humility. I know that arrogance means kind of like stuck up, not really like nice sort of way, very very full of themselves. So, but it's the opposite. I think of humility maybe as being like very humble and not much so full of themselves. So what you're going to do is when you read the article, you scroll down. Here's your worksheet you're going to be working on today. So the word that we made an inference for was humility. So in your column on word, you're going to write humility. And the inferred meaning is being humble, because it's the opposite of arrogance. And the clues would be arrogance, because it was the opposite of humility. A-R-R-O-G-A-N. And then, as Miss Kay said, we need to make up a sentence using the word humility so we have a better understanding of the word. So I'm going to write, she received her award with humility. The reason I chose that sentence was because I know that when somebody receives an award, they're not really like full of themselves when they're receiving it. They're more like humble about it, like laid back and very thankful of it. So your next article, you scroll down or scroll up, you guys use the chart. It's called Building a Colossus. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to read this article independently, and you're going to search through the article to see if you find any unfamiliar words that you might want to use your background knowledge plus your text clues to make an inference. Also, if you're reading through the article and you don't really find any like tough words that you're stuck on, you could go on Newsella, and I know Miss Tracy and Miss Johnson have said that you guys have used Newsella once before, that you can search for your own article and read through the article and as you're reading, try to see any words that you're very unfamiliar with, that you're not really understanding, but also using your text clues and background knowledge to make an inference on the word meaning. So you guys can begin your independent work, and then once you're done and you went on Newsella and found an article, you're going to conversate with your groups and explain to them the new words you learned about today and also the articles that you learned about. Does anybody have any questions before we begin?
So we're picking off an article off of Newsella.
You could read the Building a Colossus first. If that seems too easy for you, you could go on Newsella as well. Any other questions? Does anybody understand what's expected of them? Okay, you guys can begin.